Hey, welcome back. It's JWalter here. The housing market of 2021 was truly remarkable. We saw record low mortgage interest rates as well as record low housing inventory, and that of course caused home prices to reach record high levels. Homeowners sold their houses very quickly and sometimes significantly more than their asking price as homebuyers competed for the limited amount of houses for sale. Meanwhile, rental prices for houses also shot up, and that drove interest from investors as well. So the big question, of course, is will the housing market cool off in 2022, or will next year be a repeat of 2021? So the purpose of today's video is to share Corelogic's housing market forecast for 2022. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. And number one, they expect mortgage interest rates to increase next year, but will still remain relatively low. Many experts, including Corelogic, believe that mortgage interest rates will increase next year due to the Fed's decision that they're going to slow down their purchases of mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage rates could average about 0.5% higher in 2022 than they did in 2021. So in other words, they predict that mortgage interest rates will average about 3.4% in 2022. If rates rise next year without home prices decreasing, this could cause home affordability to be an even bigger issue than it is now. And thus, that could cause home buyer demand to decrease as well. With decreasing affordability, this could put a strain on first-time home buyers. And as I mentioned in my previous video, the share of first-time homebuyer sales has been decreasing. So for example, according to the National Association of Realtors, only 26% of all sales in November were from people buying their first houses. This is the lowest level since January of 2014. For comparison's sake, in 2020, first-time homebuyers made up 33% of all existing home sales. There are a variety of factors about why this percentage has been decreasing, but in my opinion, affordability issues is one of the main drivers. So for example, in 2012, properties priced at $250,000 or less made up 68% of the housing market. As of 2021, that share has been cut in half to just 30.8%. In contrast, properties priced at over $1 million account for 6% now versus 2% in 2012. The rise of home values is one reason why home buyers are getting priced out of this market. So much so that the National Association of Realtors is reporting that nearly 1 million renters can no longer afford to buy a house. However, despite this, Corelogic believes that we will see more houses for sale from new construction and existing owners relocating. That could cause home sales to rise to the largest number since 2006. In regards to home prices in 2022, Corelogic is forecasting for a slowdown. They believe that home buyer demand will slow down due to affordability constraints. With less home buyer demand, houses listed for sale should take longer to sell, and that should moderate price growth. Corelogic's home price index is forecasted to slow from 15% in 2021 to only 6% in 2022. They also believe that home prices will slow further as we approach 2023 with a 4% increase in 2023. This is more in line with historical averages. So for example, the average increase over the last decade or so is about 5%. In contrast, prices surged by 15% in 2021, which is obviously 3 times greater than the average. In regards to rental prices, rent growth reached the highest ever recorded in 2021, breaking records for 6 consecutive months. In October, for example, annual rent growth was more than 3 times that of a year ago. However, Corelogic is predicting that that pace should slow down into 2022 as more rental properties become available. On the lending side, they believe that loan originations will rise in 2022, but higher mortgage rates will cause a decrease in the number of people refinancing their mortgages. Therefore, lenders who rely more on their business from refinances versus home purchases have laid off some of their employees. Better.com did this, but they delivered this news to their employees in not the best of ways.
If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group being laid off. Your employment here is terminated effective immediately.
In regards to loan delinquencies, according to Corelogic, U.S. employment and income growth should continue to keep new delinquencies at very low levels. But the end of the foreclosure moratoriums and forbearance programs will likely result in a rise in distressed sales in 2022, but this increase will be very small. Let's discuss the effects of the mortgage loan forbearance program, or the winding down of it, plus I'll discuss some myths regarding this. The number one myth that I hear the most is that the mortgage loan forbearance program is ending soon. The reality is that many homeowners can still enter into an initial forbearance program and gain their right to stop paying their mortgages for up to 12 months. So for example, according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, if your loan is backed by FHA, HUD, USDA, or VA, you may request an initial forbearance program as long as a COVID-19 national emergency is in place. And guess what? It's still in place. In fact, President Biden extended the national emergency until at least the end of February of 2022. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets extended yet again. In addition, if your mortgage loan is backed by Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, there is still no deadline on when you can request an initial forbearance plan. In other words, for those who have a federally backed mortgage and are still experiencing a financial hardship, they can take advantage of a forbearance program if they haven't already done so, and they can request up to a 12-month forbearance program. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association's new monthly report, there are still 835,000 homeowners in forbearance, and that represents 1.67% of all U.S. mortgage loans. This is down from the peak of almost 5 million loans in forbearance that occurred in May of 2020. And despite this huge drop in the number of people in forbearance, the mortgage delinquency rates still remain very, very low, with about 94% of all loans current, meaning not delinquent or in foreclosure. And we're not seeing a big increase in the number of people deciding to list their houses for sale after they end their forbearance either. And according to the MBA, out of all the people who have left their plans so far, at least from June 1st, 2020 through November 30th of 2021, 29% resulted in a loan deferral or a partial claim. That's where all their missed mortgage payments are just added to the back end of their loan, and their mortgage payment remains exactly the same. 20% represented borrowers who continued to make their monthly mortgage payments even though they didn't have to, and 17% represented borrowers who did not make all their monthly payments and exited forbearance without a loss mitigation plan in place yet. That number has been steady over the last several months, but I'll continue to update you regarding any changes regarding that. Also, 14% resulted in a loan modification in which the term of the loan gets extended and or the interest rate decreases, making the homeowner's mortgage payment less per month. In addition, 12% resulted in past due amounts paid back in full. Only 6.9% resulted in loans paid off either through a refi or by selling their house, so the number of homes being listed for sale, of course, is very low. The remaining 1.4% resulted in repayment plans, short sales, deeds in lieu, and other reasons. To summarize Corelogic's real estate market predictions for 2022, here you go. Mortgage rates will rise but will still remain relatively low. Inventory will increase, buyer demand will slow, but it will still be elevated. This will cause a number of home sales to rise in 2022. Home prices and rents will rise, but at a slower pace compared to 2021. The number of refis will decrease, but Corelogic predicts the percentage of cash-out refis will increase. And overall mortgage delinquency rates will remain low, but will increase slightly in 2022. So what are your thoughts about Corelogic's housing market predictions for next year? Do you think they're right or do you think they're dead wrong? Comment below. Also, I'll leave a link below for you because I made a lot of other housing market prediction videos. If you haven't seen those yet already, I'll leave a link below for you as well. And if you got any value out of this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.